No way to win. Nails in the coffin.
Hey everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series, Nails in a Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, you can read what Nails in a Coffin is all about in the section down below, because these videos really on film reviews, rather a breakdown of the kills, and I evaluate how well the victim responded to their attack. I'm covering the Child's Play franchise, about halfway through it so far. And before I get started with this week's movie, here's a quick look at the average nails in a coffin for the first three films I've covered. Child's Play and Child's Play 2, very close nails in a coffin averages. So those tunes are very similar in, the stupidity of the victims and the dumb decisions they made, which is why they got such a low average. But Child's Play 3, a very high nails in a coffin average of 2.43 nails. And looking back over those films, there wasn't just a lot of stupid decisions by the victims in those movies. They were innocent. They were trying to help somebody else. They didn't know what hit them when it happened. So pretty fair, I would say, but still a very high average. I am covering Bride of Chucky this week. The first film not to have Andy Barclay in it. And it is one of my favorites in the franchise. I think the addition of Jennifer Tilly is just pure joy. The chemistry that Tiffany has with Chucky truly is a match made in hell. The way they feed off each other is just so darn entertaining. So let's get seated for the wedding as we give Bride of Chucky some nails in the coffin. When the movie starts, we see inside a police evidence locker. Now, inside that locker is a hockey mask, a chainsaw, the Shapes mask, and Freddy's glove, putting Chucky in the same universe as all those franchises. In the Chucky TV series, the house in Amityville is actually mentioned, with Chucky saying he went there first before heading to the White House. So this does put Chucky in the same franchise as all the Amityville movies as well. So Chucky is definitely part of a very iconic group of movies. Fun fact, I was in an Amityville movie with my friend Josh making the last Amityville movie, which you can watch for free on Tubi, or you can buy it on Blu-ray or DVD from SRS Cinema. I'll have some links down below. So yes, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete is in the Chucky franchise as well as all those other ones.
I'm gonna kill you, Uncle Pete.
Back to the first kill, which happens very early in the movie, just under 3 minutes. Officer Bailey is waiting for his contact after removing the remains of Chucky from that evidence locker. He's parked in his squad car with the bag of Chucky bits set next to him on the passenger seat. Curiosity is getting the better of him right now, and he checks inside the bag. And when he goes to take a peek inside, his head is grabbed back and his throat is slashed. Officer Bailey gets the first set of nails for Bride of Chucky, and I'm going to give him one nail in the coffin. May seem a little low, but hear me out on this one. He was a dirty cop, stealing evidence from a police locker just to get a payday. He was in an abandoned warehouse, which it looked like, meeting a mystery person to pay for the remains of a killer doll. She told him on the phone not to peek inside the bag, and he did anyways. Now, when in a horror movie, a lot of victims are killed because of their curiosity. Granted, he may have been killed anyways, but he willingly put himself in a dangerous situation. And I always grade law enforcement officers a little bit more difficult because they're supposed, supposed to have some training about, some type of situational awareness. He had none. He knew the risks, or he should have known them. So I'm only going to give him one nail in the coffin. He was killed by Chucky's love interest, the lovely Tiffany Valentine, played by the gorgeous Jennifer Tilly. She picks up Chucky's remains and takes him with her. She walks away. We get a title card and a track from a metal god, Rob Zombie's Living Dead Girl. She takes Chucky remains back to her trailer, and she sews Chucky back together, giving us my favorite version of the killer, stitched up Chucky. Chucky sets up an altar and tries to resurrect Chucky using the Heart of Damballa chant from a Voodoo for Dummies book. It looks like it might work since clouds are swirling overhead and there's thunder and lightning. But it doesn't work right away, which is very disappointing for Tiffany. This leads up to Chucky's first kill in Bride, Tiffany's wannabe suitor, Damian. He shows up at Tiffany's trailer with a photo of someone he says he killed, but Tiffany figures out the ruse pretty quick, realizing it's a fake. She then sees that Chucky moved from where she had left him. Knowing Chucky's back, Tiffany has Damian handcuffed to the bed, and he's probably thinking it's time to make some friends. She puts Chucky on his chest and tells him to get ready for a menage a trois. She does this sexy dance for her real love, Chucky, Then Chucky's head spins around, which scares the hell out of Damian, and our good guy then rips Damian's lip ring out. Chucky places a pillow over Damian's head and starts suffocating while Tiffany just watches with glee. He sits on the pillow while catching up with Tiffany, and while Damian dies. Damian earned himself 2 nails in a coffin. I can't blame him for allowing Tiffany to handcuff him to the bed. He really didn't do anything too stupid or foolish. Yes, he was an edgelord that just wanted to impress Tiffany. He did know that she wasn't a good girl, since he thought that if he convinced her he killed someone, she would like him more. Not sure how far I would go to impress Tiffany, but I would definitely try. Men will do crazy things to impress a woman, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're stupid or foolish. So, taking everything into consideration with Damian, I'm going to go down the middle and give him 2 nails in the coffin. Tiffany's thrilled to have Chucky back in her life, but her joy doesn't last for long when he laughs at the idea of them actually getting married. This upsets her quite a bit, so she locks Chucky in a little pen she had set up. The next day, Tiffany is relaxing in a bubble bath watching The Bride of Frankenstein. Chucky breaks out of his pen using the diamond ring Tiffany thought was for her. He grabs a knife from the drawer in the kitchen and he goes to see his girl. While Tiffany is very much enjoying watching Bride of Frankenstein, Chucky is slowly stalking towards her. Tiffany loves this movie. She even sheds a tear while watching it. Chucky bursts through the curtain for the kill, but she kicks him against the wall. He then rebounds and pushes a TV into the bathtub, electrocuting her. Right as Tiffany was dying, Chucky performs the Heart in the Bala chant and transfers Tiffany's soul into the bride doll Tiffany had given Chucky for a mate. Like I did with Charles Lee Ray, I'm going to count this as a death for Tiffany Valentine since she dies in a human form. And I'm going to give her 2 nails in a coffin. I like how she kicked Chucky right away. That was quick thinking. Now, she didn't have time to get out of the tub since Chucky quickly pushed the TV into the water. She also knew what a danger Chucky was, and I feel that she did let her guard down too much, him just being a little pen made out of wood. Chucky's right there in the next room. But she made some errors here, but she also did react quickly to first kick Chucky. So another one where I'm going to go down the middle and give her 2 nails in the coffin. Chief Warren Kincaid is Chucky's next victim of attack. He's planting some weed in Jesse's van. He hears something from the front seat, goes to check on it. He slowly crawls to the passenger seat and sees Tiffany. He then looks down and sees Chucky. Tiffany screams, "Now!" Chucky cuts a line to the airboard, setting it off, shooting some nails right in Chief Kincaid's face. Now, he's not dead yet. We will get back to him soon. Our next kill happens when Officer Norton pulls over Jesse and Jade and he starts to harass them. He finds a stash of weed and he shows it to Jesse, who says, "That's bullshit," and he smacks the bag out of the officer's hands. Jesse gets thrown against the front of his own van. He's going to get arrested. Officer Norton does go back to his patrol car to call this in. Now, this is going to put a damper on Chucky and Tiffany's plans. So, Chucky sneaks out of the van and crawls up to Officer Norton's patrol car. Chucky places a rag in the patrol car's gas tank and lights it on fire. Chucky then crawls away as the fire moves closer to the gas tank. Norton eventually smells the smoke, and when he looks in his side mirror, he sees the rag on fire by the gas tank, but all he can do is scream as his car explodes. Neither knows Norton earned himself 1.5 nails in a coffin. His police work was crap. He found drug in a suspect's van and he never handcuffed that person to detain them. If he followed the proper protocol, he would have put Jesse in handcuffs and put him in the back of his patrol car. If he did that, Chucky wouldn't have blown up the way he did. Also, when he saw the fire by his gas tank, he really never moved or tried anything. Now, he looked forward, saw Chucky and Tiffany laughing at him, then the car blew up. I would have given him a little bit more nails if he at least tried to jump out of the car. He just made some poor mistakes here that cost him his life, so the best this man can get is 1.5 nails in the coffin. Getting back to Chief Kincaid, Jesse and Jade are at the Chapel of Love getting married, while Chucky and Tiffany are talking in the van. All of a sudden, Warren springs out of the bench in the van screaming. Not dead yet, like I said. He climbs out of the bench and falls to the floor. Chucky's got this. He goes over there with the knife and finishes the police chief off with multiple stabs to the back. I'm awarding Chief Kincaid 2 nails in a coffin. He survived in that bench for a while, having multiple nails in his head. And I was going to give him more nails just for that alone. However, he was a crooked cop. If he didn't try and plant drug in Jesse's van, he wouldn't have been attacked by Tiffany and Chucky. So, taking all that into consideration, along with the fact that he did survive for a while with those nails in his head, I've been up and down with his nail rating, so when that happens, I'm going to go down the middle and give him 2 nails in the coffin. Our next kill is a 2-for-1 special. Jesse and Jade are staying at this cheesy honeymoon suite where they got married by Niagara Falls. Their neighbors in the adjoining room are Russ and Diane. They're thieves and Diane steals Jesse's wallet, but Tiffany sees this. Later on that night, while these two scumbags are getting on, Tiffany sneaks into their room. She grabs a bottle of champagne and looks at the mirror overhead, Russ and Diane's bed. The couple are busy with some hanky-panky until Tiffany throws the bottle at the mirror, shattering it, the glass raining down on the couple, and they're both impaled by the shards of glass as the waterbed explodes. Russ and Diane are both getting 1.5 nails in a coffin. The reason Tiffany killed them is because Diane stole Jesse's wallet. Diane looked up at the mirror and saw Tiffany standing there. Then Russ looked up right away as Tiffany throws the bottle. They both saw this, and neither one of them even tried to get off the bed. They still may have been killed, but not sure how much time it would have taken them to get off with the glass and everything. But they didn't even try. They both just kind of froze. They didn't even cover their heads or anything. They just kind of like laid there and screamed as glass fell on top of them. Only going to give them the extra half an hour since I'm not sure they would have gotten off the bed in time if they didn't freeze. But regardless, they made some poor decisions. 1.5 nails in the coffin. David, Jesse and Jade's close friend, is next up on the chopping block. He's in the back of the van with Jesse and Jade as they're driving down the highway. David says he smells something and he looks for the cause of it. When he opens the bench, he finds Warren's body. Now, thinking the couple killed Warren, David grabs Warren's sidearm and has Jesse pull the van over to the side of the highway. Once pulled over, David shows him Warren's body. David gets out of the back of the van thinking Jesse or Jade or both are murderers. Then Chucky and Tiffany pull guns on everybody. David gets scared and walks into oncoming traffic and is disintegrated when a semi hits him. David was smashed into pieces and that earned him 1 nail in the coffin. I get that he was frightened when he saw Warren's body. He did grab Warren's gun for protection. Then he saw Chucky and Tiffany move and talk. But you're on the side of the highway and he went in the worst direction possible when trying to retreat. He goes right into traffic and gets obliterated by a semi. It's one of the dumber things I've seen in horror movies. He could have went to the left. He could have backed up more. He could have gone in any direction, but he went in the worst one. And this was a textbook bonehead move that is only going to get you 1 nail in the coffin. Chucky and Tiffany take Jesse and Jade hostage and have them continue their trip to New Jersey. The first thing Chucky says is they do need to find a new set of wheels. Next, we see all of them in an RV with the addition of an elderly couple, previous owners of the RV, that were killed off screen. Jesse is driving it and they just reached Hackensack where Charles Lee Ray's body is buried. Now, we didn't see how the elderly couple was killed, so I can't give them a nail rating. Jesse and Jade instigate a fight between Chucky and Tiffany. Then this distracts the little couple long enough for Jade to kick Tiffany into the RV's oven. Jesse shoves Chucky out of the window, and in all the commotion, the RV crashes. After the crash, Chucky takes Jade at gunpoint, and once they get to the gravesite, Chucky kills the gravedigger by shooting him in the back of the head. Now, we didn't see this kill, only the blood splatter, so not going to be able to give the gravedigger a nail rating. This all leads up to the climax of the movie. Jesse and Jade are currently tied up. Chucky has the Heart of Damballa amulet, and he's performing the voodoo chant. Tiffany crawls over to her love and asks for a kiss before he finishes the little ritual. Then Tiffany takes a knife from Chucky and stabs him in the back. This starts a big fight between the two of them. They're having a fight with shovels, and Chucky picks up the knife, and he's able to stab Tiffany through the chest and out of her back. We're going to get back to her soon. Chucky is looking over Tiffany's body when Jesse smacks him with the shovel, sending him flying into the open grave. Before he can get out of the grave, Jesse removes the ladder, trapping the good guy. Jade then takes Lieutenant Preston's gun, he just showed up, and she shoots Chucky 6 times in the chest, once again killing our good guy. I'm only going to give Chucky 1.5 nails in a coffin. As much as I love this movie, Chucky was kind of sloppy at the end. If he didn't treat Tiffany like shit, she wouldn't have stabbed him. Then there was a good chance both of them could have succeeded with the soul swap. This was one of the weaker deaths of Chucky. I mean, he was only shot 6 times, and then he died. In the past, he took a hell of a lot more damage. So, not Chucky's best exit for one of his movies, and that's why I'm only going to be able to give him 1.5 nails in the coffin. As the sun rises, Lieutenant Preston lets the young couple go home. While looking at the mess he's going to have to clean up, he kneels down and pokes Tiffany's body, initially eliciting no response. When he goes to pick her up, she springs to life, and as well, she goes into labor. Blood spurts into the lieutenant's face, and he's looking on with horror. Tiffany passes away, and her new bundle of joy jumps into the face of a very terrified Lieutenant Preston. Tiffany is awarded 2 nails in a coffin. After everything that happened to her, I don't think she had any more to give. She pretty much gave up everything for Chucky, and he repaid her by putting her soul into a doll and treating her like crap. You know, she even quoted Frankenstein from The Bride of Frankenstein with, "We belong dead." That's probably my favorite part of The Bride of Frankenstein, and it really sums up how Tiffany felt at the end of this movie. She knew a life with Chucky would never be what she dreamed it would be. I feel like she knew what her fate was, or she wanted to go out her way as a punishment for all the crimes she committed, most of them for Chucky. According to her, they belonged dead. So I feel like she wanted to die here, and looking at everything she did, I think 2 nails in a coffin seems pretty fair. I'm not going to give Lieutenant Preston a nail rating, so you don't see how he actually died, just the new offspring jumping on him, and then the screen cuts to black, so I didn't see enough to rate his death. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, those are all my nails in a coffin for Bride of Chucky. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. Here's a look at the average nails in a coffin for the first 4 movies in the Child's Play franchise. As you can see, Child's Play 1 and 2 very close together. Bride of Chucky coming in with the lowest out of all 4 movies, and you know, thinking back to all the nail ratings, it does seem pretty fair. And I think Child's Play 3 may keep that highest rating for a long time. I don't know if another movie is going to have to beat that one. I'll see you here next week when I cover Seed of Chucky, a movie that gets a lot of unfair hate in my opinion. And we'll see how those victims get nailed until then. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. All the usual. Until then, take care, stay safe, be good to each other. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember,
You're gonna die, Uncle Pete.